Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Reading the Red this Thursday morning. We're looking at Matthew 10, verse 29 today. And in this verse, Jesus gives kind of a justification as to where to put their perspective with regards to how much involvement and how much oversight does God have over the human race and over the universe. And so in verse 29, we read these words from Jesus as an example. Are not two sparrows sold for a cent, and yet not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father? So are not two sparrows sold for a cent? So you can see it's the New American Standard Version, but that sense of a small piece of money. So Jesus presents a question as a statement, really, and he says, are not two sparrows sold for a cent? Well, they knew, yeah, sparrows, they weren't really very valuable. They're not really very important. And they're just cheap things. And he goes on and says, but though they're only sold for a cent, your heavenly Father, he knows about them when they fall to the ground, meaning that when they kind of end their lives, he's mindful, he's aware, he's in control, he's at work. And of course, he was setting himself up, really, because by presenting that as an argument with regards to God's oversight of the universe and the human race, you completely invite all of the questions that everyone wants an answer to with regards to all the problems that seem to be there in the world, but no one seems to be answering. And that sense of tension between how much is God really involved in the existence of man? How does this universe unfold every single day? How has the history of man really been managed? And the challenge to a question like this is, well, if God is concerned about a couple of sparrows, why isn't he concerned about doing something about this thing over here and that thing over there, or this war over here, or that war over there, or this poverty, or this tension, or this issue? And what if God is involved in all these things? Why isn't God being proactive in intervening and making all of these bad things that happen in people's lives different so that they're not different? Well, the fact that God knows these things, the fact that God knows a sparrow falls to the ground and dies, and he's aware of it, doesn't mean that he specifically intervenes. The truth is that God has set something into motion. He's part of it. He's involved in it. And there's an incredible privilege of being able to get God to be specifically involved in certain issues. But it raises a really big question as to the tension between the why question in life. And how do we really manage the why question and the how come question? How do we kind of come to a place of stillness, of peace, when we are facing something that we don't really know the answers to? Well, we've got a choice. We can either try and answer those questions ourselves and come up with all sorts of solutions, or we can trust in a God who has made promises, and one of those promises are really tied up within the ability to trust. It's true to say that there are many questions, and perhaps we'll never really have the answers to until we get to glory. But the big question is, are you willing to trust that uncertainty until those answers can be realised? And lots of people can't. It's really difficult. But that's the only way we can know peace in our uncertainties. So this is an invitation. Are you going to get all stressed up, or are you going to trust until you know? Have a great Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow.